and welcome to this week's edition of the Big Money Show, brought to you by the team of Big Financial Services. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined by the president, Glenn Cummings. We're so glad you're joining us today. We have a very powerful conversation around the unique needs that women face when it comes to retirement planning, because we want to empower all women to be able to retire successfully. So whether you yourself are a woman or you have a woman in your life that you love, you're not going to want to miss today's conversation. Glenn, are you ready to go?
Let's go, Kristen. It's going to be great. Yes. I can't wait to talk about this subject. Yes. You know, a lot of people don't realize how important when we're planning for our retirement that us guys that could be married or have a spouse, we really need to focus and make sure that if something ever happens to us, that they're taken care of.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
So, you know, what are some of the risks that we have, right? Well, I guess men, don't live as long as women do,
Nope, that's what the stats show.
That's what the stats show. Yep. I think, what do they live to be 114 now? Is that?
Well, I know that on average, women are living 5 to 6 years longer
than guys.
Yep.
Okay.
So sounds whatever good. That looks like, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, and the thing about it is a lot of times I sit down with folks and had a couple that came to one of our workshops, and we did an analysis on their portfolio, which is something we offer everyone when they come into our office. Of course, we have a beautiful office. It's oak trees all around. It's just a beautiful office. And the husband and wife come in, and we sat down and we looked over everything. And I may have mentioned this story before, but the guy did a great job. I mean, he he did almost as good as some of the top managers out there with managing his family's money for their retirement. He did a great job. And I just had to be honest with him. And I said, sir, everything you've done's great. I mean, I wouldn't change anything. But his wife looked at me and says, Glenn, you need to change something for us. My husband, this is all he ever does. He sits by his computer all day long. He's watching the market.
Because to be that good, you have to, right?
You have to. Yeah. He's doing all this research. He's up early in the morning. He's watching the Dow futures markets. He's watching commodities. He's watching interest rates. He's completely entangled in this stressful situation that he didn't believe, that anyone else could handle it as good as him, right? So what ended up happening is that he really wasn't enjoying his retirement at all. Right?
And therefore she wasn't enjoying it either.
She wasn't enjoying it at all. Yeah. So, shared with them a couple great ideas and a couple ways that they could, kind of diversify a little bit more. And, one of his main concerns was making sure that upon him passing away, that she would have a pension, right? Or have an income that he had a pension, but once he passed away, she lost that. So that's one of his biggest concerns, was growing the money to make sure it could always provide her a pension. So I said, hang on a second. We've got a plan that can have a guaranteed pension through this big life insurance company, right? It's called an annuity. It's not that, I think it's not a bad name. It's a guaranteed income the rest of his life and her life that we could just simply set aside this little bit of money, and it's going to grow, guaranteed. It's going to provide these numbers and figures upon something happening to him. And all of a sudden, the stress was relieved. Right? In 2 seconds. He's like, wow, there's a plan out there that does that?
Game changing.
And of course you have to look at the claims paying ability of the life insurance company and make sure they're a good company and they're going to be behind, their guarantees.
Right.
But that right there solved all the issues. So, that's all we did for the client. That's all we did for him. He was great managing his own money, but that one income piece he wanted to have as a guarantee for her.
Right.
And it relieved so much stress that he's now able to go play golf. He's not stressed as much watching over all the money because he knows that he's got that piece of the plan figured out.
Right. Well, and because they've built this plan with you now together, heaven forbid, if he does pass away first, she's going to know who to call.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think that's another huge piece of this, is making sure that plan is in place before that day comes.
Absolutely. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that I've done this a long time. And, when you're in my position, your ultimate job is to be there for families in the good times and the bads, right?
Yep.
And I've been through a lot of those bad times. you know, but the bad times aren't really bad in a way, because if I've done the proper planning with that husband and wife, to where if either the husband or the wife passes away, if we've done the right planning, you know, I'm the first person, I've mentioned this before, that they call.
Yep.
Because we're the ones that handle everything. So, you know, all the paperwork, we do it, you know, with no charge whatsoever, to handle all the paperwork, to make sure everything moves over to that well spouse. And we try to make sure that they're taken care of. But I've seen many, many, many pitfalls of people that don't do the proper planning.
Yep.
So that's why it's important to reach out to us, get scheduled. Let's look over what you have and see if we can help improve things.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I know specifically as we're talking about women today and the unique needs that we face from a retirement planning perspective, you know this might not be common knowledge to our viewers, but when I first started off in this industry over a decade ago, my first job was to travel nationwide specifically to present to women. And one of the reasons is because as women, we face a lot of unique challenges that make it a little different than what from men experience when it comes to financial planning. So we wanted to share some of those challenges with you. Are you ready, Glenn?
You know, you've always got those statistics ready to go, okay?
Oh, yes.
So please share those.
All right. So on a high level, here's the deal. We know that there is a gender pay gap, and on average, women earn about 82 cents for every dollar that men earn, which can lead to less saved over our lifetimes as women. Women also on average spend more time outside of the workforce. This is due to caring for children, but also for caring for aging parents and other relatives. That time out of the workforce also can contribute to less money saved and to less Social Security. So that's another issue that we face. Then, as we already said, we're living longer than men, on average 5 to 6 years longer, and 80% of women are dying single. And with that longer lifespan can come an increase in healthcare costs and the potential for long-term care. So talk about several, not even double whammies, I don't know what the proper term for lots of whammies there, that are compounding, which make financial planning, whether you like it or not, women have to engage in more financial planning than men.
They really do. And guys, as the husbands or as the spouses, it's our responsibility to take care of our women. Period. It's our responsibility to sit down with an advisor that will open up that can of worms of all of those different things that could create issues in the retirement, right? Long-term care, you talked about that. You know, 76% of us over the age of 65 are going to need some type of care before we go.
Yep.
You know, that's a big number, you know, and if the guys get sick first, there's a lot of money that can be spent. You know, I've been through it myself. You know, my father-in-law, 4 years of cancer, mother-in-law, 4 years of Alzheimer's, my mom, 4 years of cancer. I took care of all my family members personally in my own home, and it cost so much money. It was just, but you know, not only the money that it cost, it really drains you emotionally. So, you know, a lot of times when I sit down with spouses that have lost a husband, when they come into the office, you know, it's a big hug. You know, it's we always send flowers. We try to always be a part of the funerals if we can. You know, we're there to love them and to support them. And a lot of financial planning companies, they don't. You know, I had another situation where I met with the client after she lost her husband, and she said, "Glenn, just give me a couple of weeks. Thank you for sending the flowers. Just give me a couple of weeks and then come out." And I said, "I'm here to help you with whatever you need. The paperwork done. I'm here." Right? So 2 weeks later, she calls me. I come out and visit with her, and I've done a lot of death claims, and it's not easy. But I sit down with her, and I see his little guitar sitting in the corner that he used to play. You know, I see the picture up on the wall, you know, when he did the Tom Petty driving experience, you know, at the Daytona 500 track, right? Just a great, great guy, you know. In the last few years, he was unfortunately in a wheelchair. So, you know, we knew his health was declining, but the reality of it is that when I sat down with her and I kind of went over everything, she said to me, she says, "Glenn, I just want to let you know one thing. Every other advisor that my husband has worked with over many, many years, including our bank up the street, not one of them said, 'I'm sorry for your loss.'"
Wow. Oh, that's
not one of them. Not one of them sent a card. Not one of them sent flowers. All they wanted to know was I going to now move the money out of those accounts and take them somewhere else because my husband passed? And she said, "Glenn, I want to let you know something." She goes, "I just want to let you know that what you've done and your team, it's not just me, folks, all my team's women, by the way, okay?
I
all of my team's women, and they're amazing women, and they're a little higher on that pay scale than you're talking about, okay? Just but they're fantastic. But she says, I want to move everything over with you guys, okay? So, that's really powerful in a way to where you realize, man, all this work I've done for this person, all this work I've done behind the scenes for this family is really paying off.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I thank you for sharing that story. And I know that there's probably a lot of folks watching that are going, you know what, we understand the value of having a financial plan, and not just a plan, a written plan, knowing that everything is going to be buttoned up and going to be okay. So if someone's watching and they don't yet have that, what would you say to them?
I'd say that if you don't have a written plan that focuses on taxes, long-term care, inflation, right? Income planning. If you don't have a plan that focuses on all of those things, you need to sit down with us and let's build one for you.
Wonderful. Glenn, thank you so much. I'm excited to continue this very important conversation as we talk about empowering women to retire securely. But again, today's the day. If you don't yet have that written financial plan in place, what are you waiting for? It's completely complimentary to you. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call the number you see there on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408. Or if you'd like to connect online, you can simply grab your smartphone, click that QR code that you see there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from Big Financial Services will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary meeting that way as well. We've got a lot more to talk about today on the unique retirement planning needs that women face. Stay with us.
I used to sell vacuum cleaners door to door, and my brother-in-law said, Glenn, you can't keep doing that. You need to look at something long-term. I was only 21 years old back then and started working with a life insurance company called MetLife, and really learned how important that type of job was, working with people, working with retirees, seeing people unfortunately lose their lives, doing death claims. Never really knew about it, honestly. I was too young at the time, and all I knew is I was going to hopefully work for a company that was a big life insurance company. I really didn't understand a lot of those things. But once I actually started working there and I started seeing what the company's all about and all the things it does to help families, it really was something that was really special. My first death claim was a mascot of a pep rally, and he was the principal of a school, and unfortunately he passed away. I was the one that did the death claim, 21 years old. And when his wife came in and we sat down, I could just feel the devastation, not only for her, but for me. And to be that person that's sitting there to do all of this paperwork for her, relieve all the stress and the anxiety she was dealing with at the time, and to say, hey, you know what? Your husband bought this policy for you and for your family and for your kids. And to deliver that death claim check was a very powerful thing. And I realized at that moment, this is something that really can impact families, and been in the business and loved it ever since.
Well, welcome back to the Big Money Show. I'm Kristen Oakley here with the president of Big Financial Services, Glenn Cummings, and a wonderful conversation we are having today all about the unique retirement planning needs that women face. As we just shared earlier in the show, there's lots of specific challenges that women face that men don't necessarily have to face in the same way. So whether you yourself are a woman or you have a woman in your life that you love, we're so glad you're joining us for this important conversation, because we want to empower women to be able to retire successfully and securely. And Glenn, one of the things that I don't know our viewers are aware of is just what an awesome guy you are from a perspective of wanting to empower women. As you said, you've got a lot of women that make up the team of Big Financial Services.
Absolutely.
But you're also a girl dad.
I'm a girl dad, okay?
So
I've got two daughters, and they're beautiful. And, it's a lot of people say, Glenn, what do you do this for? And I not only do it for my clients, I not only do it because I feel like this is what God has blessed me to do, really, but I also do it for my family. And my daughters are beautiful. They're amazing. They look like their mom, okay? They don't look much like me, okay? But they're beautiful, look just like their mom. And but I really love being there for women that need help. I feel like a lot of times I'm the kind of guy where I just want to swoop in and fix the problems, especially if it's a client that's, lost a husband, or I've had a few clients, unfortunately, go through a divorce.
Yes, and a lot of women are blindsided by that and have to
Blindsided.
start over financially.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, what a lot of us don't realize is that the tax code is better overall if you're married filing jointly.
It's more favorable to you.
More favorable. So
Right.
you can make more money, pay less taxes if you're married filing jointly. But if you're single, or you're widowed, or you're divorced, and you're a single taxpayer, you lose a lot of those tax benefits. So a lot of women, when they get divorced or they become a widow, they don't realize that that's a big tax problem for them in the future. So not only do they need to make more income, they also need to realize they're going to have some more taxes to pay.
Yep.
So in a lot of cases, if a spouse, a husband passes away and he passes on this IRA to the wife, she's going to have to take those distributions. Every distribution is going to be taxable if it's an IRA or a 401k. So a lot of those things they're not aware of. Another thing that's very, very important is Social Security planning, right? When to take it. When's the best time to take it? But there's so many strategies on Social Security that many of you have no idea how they work. Sit down with a professional and let's share those things. Because, if I were to say, be able to say my Social Security, we're married, okay? In this show, we're married, okay?
Pretending, yes.
We're pretending in the show. So if we're married and I were to be the higher Social Security earner, right? So I made more money over my lifetime, like you said. So I'm going to get the bigger Social Security check. There's different times I can turn it on, right?
Right.
So, but the uniqueness about Social Security is if yours is a lower amount, I want to possibly wait till I'm 70 or full retirement age to where it's a higher amount. Because once I elect that higher amount, upon me passing away, you lose yours.
Right.
But you can get mine.
Right. You have to lose one of the two Social Security checks, but the good news is you get to keep the higher of the two checks.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't aware of that. It's not like Social Security is just going to be like, hey, by the way, right? You have to know that and be sure you're ready to make that important decision.
Yeah. And sometimes, if you can defer out your Social Security just for a little while and you can get that larger amount, I'm securing that for my spouse for the rest of her life if I were to predecease. So there's so many different planning strategies you have to be aware of. And we love to sit down with people and share it with them,
Yeah.
And it's such a comfort and a peace when you give us a phone call, and lately, I've had so many clients that are reaching out to us that would just like to do a Zoom meeting or just a phone call to answer some of your questions.
Right.
We do that as well.
Yep.
If you want to come into the office, we can have a fresh cup of coffee, sit down, share a lot of things on my big screen TV in the office. But if you just want a phone call to answer some of your questions or a quick Zoom meeting, those kind of things, please feel free to reach out to us. And that's the blessing of this show is you're watching the show right now. Give us a call. Get time set up. Let's review and answer questions that you may have, especially when it comes to women, because women out there, if you're single or you're widowed or you're divorced, I know these are concerns for you and we're here to help.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited for more women to get to connect with you as a result of today's show. So Glenn, thank you so much. Again, you don't have to go through this alone. We know that a lot of these things might feel very overwhelming to you, but this is what Glenn and the team at Big Financial Services, they do day in and day out for folks, and they are ready and willing to help and serve you. So this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how they can help and serve you. A couple ways you can connect, as Glenn said. You can call the number on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408, or you're welcome to scan that QR code and get connected. And you can either set up that complimentary phone call, Zoom meeting, or in-person meeting, whatever would suit your needs best. We'll be back with more right after this.
So if you're close to retirement, that's pretty awesome, right? But a lot of people that I meet with can already retire. They think I've got another 4 or 5 year window before I can retire, right? And the reason why is they haven't sat down. They haven't budgeted everything of what they're gonna need. You need to sit down with someone that can help you with planning for that retirement. Because once you retire, you lose a job. We've got to make up that job with income from somewhere. And we want to make sure that income can last, right? The rest of our lives. That's a very important thing. So sitting down with a professional, not only me, but shop around. Just make sure that they build a plan for you that you can review and feel comfortable with. Building those plans is very, very important. And that way it gives you some kind of peace to it, and that's what most of us want to know is when can we retire? Well, there's all kinds of different tools that are available out there, and it's working with someone that knows all the tools. As individuals, we strive for better. From a better house to a better career to a better life for our kids. But when it comes to your retirement, what does better mean to you? More income? A flexible lifestyle? Better solutions? A better retirement begins with a plan. To get your complimentary written financial plan, call the number you see here. You only retire once. This is your opportunity to plan for better.
Welcome back to the Big Money Show. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Glenn Cummings. We're so glad you're joining us today. We are having a very important and fun conversation about the unique retirement planning needs that women face. And Glenn and I were talking during the break. We have something a little bit exciting we want to share with you. And this is the fact that how empowered women feel when they come in and work with you and the team of Big Financial Services. And one of the reasons we were kind of jokingly saying is because we as women tend to like to spend, right?
Sure, of course.
And so you help empower women to figure out a spending plan on how you can actually enjoy your money in retirement. That's huge.
Huge, and what I always say, of course, if you have children, you love your children, right? You set some things aside for them. But this big pot I've been building up all my life, I'd like to spend it.
Enjoy it.
I'd like to enjoy it.
Yes.
And a lot of times when husbands and wives come into my office, it's really fun, because I get to see the dynamic between the two. And, but the husbands, of course, they like to spend the money too, sports cars, golf, things like that.
Yep.
And the women like to do other things like travel and get their hair done, those kind of things, right? So the point is that I like, in some cases, to build plans that never run out of money. Okay. Build plans that are guaranteed income that just hit their bank account and it never goes away no matter what.
So it's like having that guaranteed paycheck throughout the rest of your retirement.
Having that guaranteed paycheck. Because what ends up happening is when I have husbands and wives that come in, and a lot of them already have good Social Security. They have good pensions. They may have worked some type of government job and they've got a nice big monthly pension coming in. They don't really have a lot of debt. They've got some money sitting in the bank or in the markets growing a little bit. Those are the ones that really don't have a lot of stress because they know every single month they're getting a certain amount of money that's hitting their bank account. Well, many of you out there that have these large 401ks and you don't have one of those pensions, right? Let's take a chunk of that money. Let's turn it into a pension. Why not, right? And then we'll take another chunk of it and we'll let it grow and we'll just spend it. We're going to have fun, we're going to travel, A lot of us, when we retire, really have 10 to 15 years of good times, right? You get in your late 70s, 80s, you may want to just kind of sit back a little bit more, our health could deteriorate, those kind of things. So these are all stages in retirement, but I want to be able to spend and enjoy my money really in that 10 to 15 year window. And I want my wife to enjoy herself. I want her to enjoy, traveling. I want to go out to the nicest restaurants. But most folks are completely blown away that some of these unique planning tools that are out there could create guaranteed income that literally hits their bank account no matter what happens. So even if I were to pass away, you're still getting the check.
Right.
Yep. And then we have a nice little chunk of money over here that we may be able to play a little bit in the markets with. Markets have volatility, of course, but in the long term, generally the markets do pretty well. So, there's all kinds of different planning tools we have, but it's a lot of fun working with couples. I love it because, and here's a funny thing too. There was a wife one time, the husband said, "Hey, I want to buy that Corvette. I remember that story.
Mm-hmm.
He bought his Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bought his Corvette,
Right.
So, it's sometimes the guy spinning or the wife spinning. We want you to enjoy yourselves,
Yes.
enjoy your retirement.
And enjoy it together and make
Yeah.
sure that there's that plan in place, because we know that the number one fear of most retirees is running out of money. But with the proper planning in place, that fear can be severely reduced and in a lot of cases eliminated, right?
Eliminated, yeah.
Yeah, well, for sure. Well, anything else come to mind in this important conversation? I know you have no shortage of stories of women you've helped. Maybe a woman who was blindsided by the unexpected, who you've helped rebuild her financial life. Anything come to mind?
Just the peace and the comfort that they have knowing that they've got Glenn, and they've got my entire team that are going to help them go through whatever is good or bad coming their way. And I've been through all of it.
Yeah.
Period. So
Yeah.
have someone in your corner,
Mhm.
have someone that's going to work with you and take care of you. And, give us a call, schedule a time, phone call, Zoom, in office, whatever you'd like. And I know you're going to mention that to everybody as well.
Yeah,
but
for
thank you
sure.
so much for bringing that up today. This is you, okay?
Yep.
These are great
Something I'm very
topics.
passionate about.
Yeah, very passionate,
Mhm.
because this is what you've been through. It's what I've been through, and we're here for you, folks.
Yeah.
But yes, women, please reach out to us. You're going to love the team. You may not like me, okay? I mean, everyone loves Lauren and Paula and Lexi and Maggie and Dee. They love all the women in the group. They love us too, okay?
Yes,
they
they
do
do.
love us too.
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort. Yeah, we love to meet with each and every one of you and bring you on as a client and be a part of the team.
Yes. Well, and I think too, for women, it's encouraging because it can be hard to know who to turn to. It can be hard to know who to trust in this industry.
Yes.
But here's the deal. This is a completely, no strings attached opportunity for you to be able to come in and sit down with the team of Big Financial Services to see how they can help and serve you, to get your questions answered. But you have to reach out. And again, a couple ways that you can do that. Simply call that number on the bottom of your screen, 888-503-7408. Or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. And as you said, you can connect via Zoom or over the phone too, right?
Yes, and whatever makes you feel more comfortable.
Yes,
And
yeah.
a lot of times people see this television show, and I've had a few friends send me pictures. Oh, you're on TV. I'm a normal guy.
Yes, you are.
Right? I'm a
Yep.
normal guy.
What you
So
see on TV is what you're going to get in
this
person
is what
too.
you're going to get. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time.
Yep.
And let's improve your retirement. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
wonderful. Well, Glenn, thank you so much. And just remind our viewers where you're located.
We're located in Tampa, Florida. We're in the Highland Oaks. It's the most beautiful business office location you've ever seen. Oak trees everywhere. Come in, have a cup of coffee. Let's sit down and review things. Love it.
Awesome. Well, great. Glenn, thank you so much. And
Thank
thank you
you.
to our viewers. Again, we appreciate you being here. Be safe and be happy, be blessed. We look forward to being back with you next time here on The Big Money Show.